Hello everyone. Thank you for 10,000 subscribers. I thought one of the best ways to celebrate would be by asking you guys some Q&A questions. The first one is a common one I get, and it's where did the name G-Wiz come from? And it's really funny because I don't really know. See, I tell a lot of people it stands for Godot Wiz because it kind of works out. But when I created it, I didn't even make Godot content, so its history is a bit blurry. Essentially, I just thought it sounded funny. I thought it was like the term G Wiz, and I just put it there. There was no, I didn't use it before then. I only used it when I made this channel, and it just kind of me just saying G Wiz, and then it turned into Godot Wiz. I think is kind of like the general consensus now. The next one's kind of similar. It's what gave you the idea for your channel logo? This one's actually a bit more of an interesting story because I actually made it before I even made the channel and before I even came up with the, G-Wiz name. Essentially, when I was working on my game Little Ninja, I was in a Discord call with the artist slash my friend, and it was at like 3 a.m. and we randomly started blabbering about this idea for a species called Migmigs. And we wrote a bunch of nonsensical lore about them, but the general theme was they're the reason why bugs happen in your computer. They make the computer run, and essentially, if you don't take care of them or pay them, they break your code. That was like the kind of idea behind them. They were actually kind of inspired by these things called Bliblies in Smiling Friends. I don't know if you've seen that. It's in like the first episode of it if you want to go check it out. Great show. We were just watching that actually like a couple days prior to coming up with the idea for Migmigs. That's how it kind of bled into it. Which is actually why the theme for the G-Wiz Anniversary Jam had some Smiling Friends related stuff in it. And believe it or not, originally, I didn't even want to have like a visual design for them. I wanted them to be just a concept, a imaginary concept for a species that you don't really know what they look like. You just know that they do stuff. But my friend insisted that we should have some sort of visualization for some reason. I don't really remember the exact reason why, but anyways, I went into Blender of all things because that's my most comfortable artistic tool, and literally took a torus and I extruded some of the edges, and then I like loop cut them to make them into more curved shape, and then I just subdivided it. And I added legs too originally, which you'll see in a couple pictures. But yeah, then when it came time to make my channel logo, I just kind of chopped off their legs as you do, and I made it like a minimalistic version of it, which I think came out really well. And by really good, I mean the second or third iteration, not the first one. The next one is, do I have any published commercial games of my own? Which, yeah, I technically have one. It's Little Ninja, as I mentioned earlier, which is just a small game that I programmed myself, but my friend who's in my server as Sword Affinity made the art for. Next one's pretty simple. How long have I been coding? I started around end of 5th grade, so summer after 5th grade, so summer 2014. I took this intro to programming class that was centered around game development and like Scratch and stuff like that. We learned like a little bit of JavaScript too, and that was insanely fun. I'm actually in talks with the summer school teacher of that to go and do some sort of tutoring session or some sort of teaching session in that original class, which is really cool. The next one, the answer is probably going to take a few of you by surprise. I've mentioned it a couple times in my Discord, but never publicly on YouTube. It's what inspired you to be a game developer? And the answer is I'm not a game developer. So now that the cat's out of the bag, why am I not a game developer? Well, I started college and I do software engineering as my major. And throughout that, you take a lot of software-oriented classes. You don't really do game development classes. And I really started to realize that I actually enjoy more just software-oriented stuff than game development stuff. Which, for those uninformed, yes, there is a pretty big difference. Game development requires a lot more, I guess, artistic style and just a bunch of other types of things that you don't really see in software, and vice versa. But that is essentially why I haven't been motivated enough to actually create a game on this channel, which was, believe it or not, the original reason why I created this channel was to make devlogs of a game. But then after I started realizing, I actually prefer doing software development, I kind of switched gears a bit, which I was already doing tutorials at the time, but I went more heavily into them, and I was like, yeah, this should be the main focus of the channel, is mostly tutorials, because I feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to teach you guys, even if I don't really use this stuff myself, I feel it's still a lot of the similar concepts, and I think it's super helpful to teach you guys. And I don't get me wrong, I love teaching you guys new things, game development related, and I won't stop doing that. But in terms of games, I don't really plan on doing anytime soon. Another one is pretty common. It's I struggle with GDScript. What should I do to practice? Okay, you ready? Practice more. Yeah, that's basically it. Make projects. Then you're good. Go make a project. Go make a couple projects, and you'll learn the language. You'll learn any language doing that. Go make any type of project, any language. You'll learn the language. Sorry, there's no other secret sauce to it. That's the way. Next one's a bit more comedic. If aliens invade Earth, what are my plans? Probably not much. So, if aliens have enough technology to get to Earth, if they want you to die, you're gonna die. It's as simple as that. If they have the power to do interstellar travel, their rule is, whatever they want. So I guess the best thing to do is try to become friends with them in the best way you can. And that's about it. All right, next one is 5 to 6 small Android games or one big Steam game for beginners. 5 to 6 Android games. Make as many projects as you can. Make sure you at least mostly complete them, because otherwise you won't really be doing yourself much favors. But yeah, try to do a couple projects to really get, kind of diversify your learning and what you're doing, and so you can gather a bunch of tools and then use them towards a bigger project. And also, this is the best way to not get burnt out, because if you just start with a big project, you will get burnt out. There is a 0% chance that you're going to see that to fruition if you just start with the big project for the first thing you do. All right, the next one is, how do I keep my tutorials so simple? It's simple. I simply pick one niche topic and I loosely structure a video around it. I don't write a script or anything. I might make like little bullet points, but that's it. Honestly, it's very improv. But the best way to do it is, as I'm recording, even with any video I've ever made, as I'm recording it, I'm editing it. I have DaVinci Resolve. You'll see in every video, I have DaVinci Resolve in the bottom opened up. Yeah, I'm consistently going to that after every single take and editing it there, so that way I can instantly redo something if it doesn't work. So let's say I write a line of code and it doesn't work. I'm not going to leave that in the video because I know right then and there that didn't work. So I'm just going to re-record that part and then put it into the editor. So it works really well, and it's very fast paced. It's basically faster than I can even talk. It's faster than I can do something. So that's why it's so simple, because it's just so cut up, and I know exactly what needs to be edited and when. I don't have to write any notes about that. And that's why a lot of tutorials, seem longer. They have a lot more fluff because they edit it afterwards, and they don't know exactly where you should cut things. And I'm very efficient with it because I'm very inefficient with it, and I edit it while I'm creating the video. So right after I record that, I actually just put that into the editor, and I chopped off the beginning of it right here. So wherever there is no audio lines, I just cut that part, and then I go to the end and also cut the end part there, so you don't see me reaching to turn off OBS. And I do this for every single clip I ever do. Like right after this clip, it's just gonna go straight into this editor before I record the next one. It's a very unique process, but it works really well for me. This is getting very meta now, but I'll show. I delete this part, and then I just go to the end, and I delete that part. All right, the next one is, how do I know the things that I know? Tutorials, documentation, magic, etc. Well, obviously, it is magic. I'm a magical being known as GWiz. But in honesty, again, make projects. That's really the best way to learn stuff, is just by making things. And then along the way, you look up, I prefer to look up documentation, or actually forum posts like Stack Overflow and all that are really helpful. I don't really use ChatGPT or anything. I very rarely use it. If I really can't find an answer on something, I might go there. Like, I wasn't able to find out how to do SHA-256 in Python, so I had to quickly go to ChatGPT. But that's like a last resort, because it'll give you broken code that you have to just fix, but it'll give you like the general idea for it. But I occasionally watch videos. Those are more for like design things, like how like certain algorithms work or whatever, unless they're so how to code something. And the next part of this comment is people feel on another level. That's actually an illusion, right? I'm not really a master of Godot. I do a lot of very poor practice in it. I do a bunch of things wrong. I get called out a lot because I'm not that good at it. I'm experienced in it, but I think it's just if you just talk in a certain way and if you just show things in a certain way where you appear confident, that's honestly enough to be confident. Like, I'll even watch, tutorials and stuff where it's like, man, this guy seems really smart, but then I realize, like, well, what if they're just doing what I'm doing, where I just try to sound confident and I don't actually really feel that confident. Like, a lot of my videos, I actually have to do the research for that video and then release it, and then usually I actually forget a lot of the stuff that I made in that video. I actually have to rewatch a lot of my tutorials sometimes to help out people. It's really, really weird. So to sum that up, especially on edited videos, you don't really see where they're failing. You only see where they're successful. You only really see the survivorship bias, where they seem to always know what they're talking about. That's because I cut out the parts where I don't know what I'm talking about. Next one, and I assume this is what it means. What is my top 5 favorite video games of all time? So the top one is one I don't think many people have heard of, but I love that game. It is so much fun. It's Burnout 3. That's my favorite game of all time, above all else. It's just so good. It's the best racing game of all time. You can look it up and it's ranked as one of the best. It's so good. The next one is Minecraft. I play a lot of Minecraft. I still do to this day. I just started doing 2B2T, which I actually plan on starting to stream some of that soon because it's a lot of fun. The next one, it gets a bit messy down below that. I like Halo. I don't know where I would put them ranking wise. I actually don't like some of the older Halos, which I know is like really controversial, but I started with Halo 5 and I really like the movement of it. I didn't even really start gaming that heavily in terms of like shooters and stuff like that before like the newer ones with the more advanced movement, and I really just liked the more fast-paced. That's just more my personality, is I like the more fast-paced things, where you can sprint. And okay, Spartans should be able to sprint. I'm sorry, they are superhuman soldiers. I'm sorry, they're not too weak to run, okay? But so I'd probably put Halo 5 somewhere in there, or Halo Infinite is even pretty good. I can't quite give it to it because it's not really, it didn't quite live up to it. But in terms of the multiplayer, okay, the campaign for Halo 5 isn't good, obviously. It's terrible. But the multiplayer is the best in the series. So I think I'll just put Halo as a whole in third place. That's kind of cheating, I know, but sorry. And then for number 4, I would put a game called Battle Block Theater, which I played a lot over a summer with one of my best friends. That's a really fun platformer. Lots of personality. It was on the 360. Really, really good game. And then after that, I would have to put a Portal game. I don't know if I would put Portal or Portal 2. The problem is I've played a lot more Portal because I like to speedrun it, and it's a very quicker speedrun than Portal 2 speedruns. But I do enjoy Portal 2 for what it is. It was actually the first one I played, and it's got a lot more, a lot more going on. A lot more people worked on it, higher budget, a lot more story. So I would have to put Portal 2 there, but Portal is a very close runner-up. I might even do it again where I cheat and I put both Portals there, but I'll be fair, I'll put Portal 2 in 5th place. And the final question I'll do is, what do I like doing outside of computer science? I don't really do much, actually, because I'm in school for it, and I also do content around it, so it doesn't leave much time outside of it. But I have been playing, as I said before, some 2B2T, and a couple other video games, such as Halo. I was playing Halo for my school's esports team, and that's been a lot of fun. I haven't really done it. I didn't really do it last year just because I was busy, and I might do it again this year, but I'm still debating on it. But beyond that, I've been exercising a lot. I've been lifting weights. I have been, going for a lot of, runs and walks and stuff like that. I got into that about a year ago at this point, and I've continued it. It's really helpful. Anyways, that's it for the questions I'll be answering. Some of them are redundant. Some of them are just gibberish that I could entertain, but this video would go on for way too long if I did. But anyways, thank you guys so much for 10K subscribers. It's a huge milestone. I do hope to at some point one day hit 100K. That's kind of the ultimate goal of this channel. I don't really know where I'll go there after that, but right now that's the goal for this channel is 100K. I really just want a plaque. I want the silver play button. So let's get there. Thank you guys.